Welcome to another episode of BackPass Tactics. We build backwards and transition forward because every goal begins with building from the back and passing forward. Today we'll be discussing Manchester United. We'll be discussing the potential coaches that Manchester United should hire because clearly Amorim is stubborn and he doesn't want to change things. So we'll be talking about which coaches would be suitable for Manchester United so that Manchester United can fire Amorim and his stubbornness. So let's begin with the first coach on the list. We have Unai Emery. Coach Unai Emery has coached in La Liga. He's coached Arsenal in the English Premier League as well. Coach Unai Emery is used to coaching big teams such as Arsenal, and he's also coached Villarreal, if I'm not mistaken, and recently he coached Aston Villa. So here's a brief background on Unai Emery. I'd say Unai Emery didn't get a fair chance at Arsenal. He was shown the door too quickly before he could cook. So in as much as he coached Arsenal, but I feel like his stint at Arsenal wasn't as impactful and they did not give him a proper chance. But when you look at how he's coached in Villarreal, seemingly Unai Emery is used to coaching big name players and he has the strong presence that Manchester United needs. Because if you look at Manchester United right now, they need a coach who has a strong presence, a coach with a big personality, and Unai Emery has a big personality. He's worked with so many big name players and he knows how to manage players. Unai Emery is not those modern coaches who are very free. He's a bit strict in a way, so he can suit Manchester United. He'll be the one that can fix the issue that the team has right now. But one of the problems that I have with Unai Emery is the fact that Unai Emery is a one-trick pony. As soon as things are not going well for Unai Emery, he almost has the same problem that Amorim has because he's stubborn. He doesn't know how to change tactics. And the minute one or two players get injured and he has to change his first 11, then he starts dropping points. So Unai Emery sometimes is the type of coach that you'd say he doesn't have a plan B. So that's one of the major problems with Unai Emery. And in my opinion, Manchester United needs a coach with plan A, plan B, even plan Z. And Unai Emery is not the type of coach that can actually improve Manchester United right now. I'd even say Amorim would even be a better option as a continuation over signing Unai Emery as a coach. So the other name on the list is former Barcelona coach Xavi. And I've been seeing a lot of rumors that Coach Xavi would be willing to coach Manchester United. And in my opinion, Coach Xavi would be the best possible option for the team. He's used to playing great football. He knows how to manage a big team. As you know, he did fairly well at Barcelona. And in my opinion, Barcelona shouldn't have fired him because he was one of the first few coaches after a terrible stint to actually win the team the league. I think in his first season or his second season, he actually won the league. And as a coach who wasn't even previously experienced enough to coach big teams, he came at Barcelona and he hit the ground running. So Coach Xavi would be a good option for the team. And one of the pros of Coach Xavi is the fact that he's a Spanish coach. And you know, Spanish coaches know how to bring the best out of midfielders. They know how to play beautiful football. Coach Xavi has the tiki-taka DNA. And he's one of those coaches that the players would respect. Sometimes the best coaches are the coaches that are former club legends and players who've done fairly well in terms of their personal playing career and coaching career. So Xavi is one of those coaches that can appeal to the team because he's achieved a lot as a player and he's also achieved a lot as a coach. But one of the problems with Coach Xavi is the fact that if you look at the current team at Manchester United, there'll be a lot that needs to change. I am almost certain that if Coach Xavi would be willing to coach the team, one of the first few things that he'd want is a proper number 6 and a proper number 8 player. So those would be one of his demands. And looking at Manchester United, there's so many things that are happening at the club. There are so many positions that have issues. So I don't think Manchester United would be willing to give Xavi all the things that he needs to succeed. Because I know for a fact Xavi would probably want more than 5 players. Because the current crop of players do not fit the standard that Xavi would want. The current players that Manchester United has, your likes of Ugarte and Casemiro, wouldn't cut it for Xavi right now. So the priority areas for Xavi would be the midfield. And as a former midfielder, he knows that the midfield is the main problem right now at Manchester United. Let's also discuss another potential controversial take. Should Manchester United bring back Jose Mourinho? In my opinion, I love Jose Mourinho, but I don't think Jose Mourinho would be the best option. I don't think he should come back to Manchester United. The problem with Mourinho over the years is that the football standard and the way football is being played no longer suits the style of play that Mourinho plays. And as the years move on, it seems that Coach Mourinho is old-fashioned and he doesn't know how to adapt to modern football. So Jose Mourinho coming back to Manchester United would be a disaster. I'd rather even Ten Hag comes back before Mourinho as a coach. Let's discuss another name on the list. A name which I feel would be another good option for Manchester United. Antonio Conte. Maybe Manchester United would have to bring in Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte has achieved a lot at Chelsea. He's won a lot at Juventus. He's also won a lot at Napoli. He's coached so many big teams and he's a no-nonsense coach who knows how to handle the dressing room. And Manchester United needs a figure that knows how to handle the dressing room because there's so many ego problems. There's so many dressing room issues that require an old school, old-fashioned coach who is a no-nonsense coach. So Antonio Conte would be one of the first names on my list. But here's the problem with Antonio Conte. He's not a long-term coach. And Manchester United needs a coach that would be willing to stay at the project for 4 years minimum. And Antonio Conte is one of those coaches that stays in a team for at most 3 seasons, sometimes 2 seasons. And one of his problems is that along the way, he always gets to have problems with the management team. So along the way, he might have a fallout with the management team and then this results in him being fired. Remember what happened at Chelsea. Remember what happened at Tottenham. Remember what happened at Juventus. So Conte has a problem with having his relationship fall apart with the management team along the way. So that's one of the reasons why I feel Conte wouldn't be a good fit for Manchester United. Another problem with Conte is the fact that he likes using the 3 or 5 defender system that Manchester United is currently struggling with. So imagine if you bring in a coach that uses the same system that Amorim is struggling with. This wouldn't make sense. The final name on the list for me would be Coach Zinedine Zidane. I think he would be the best option for Manchester United. Coach Zidane achieved a lot at Real Madrid. He came back twice and he's won Champions League titles, he's won league titles. He's a very well-decorated coach who deserves another shot at a big team. But then the problem with Zidane is that he hasn't coached for a long time. I don't know if he's rejecting offers or he's waiting for the France job, but Coach Zidane hasn't been coaching for a long time. So I do feel like maybe he's a bit rusty because sometimes you need a coach who's been coaching maybe at least minimum 2 seasons ago, but Zidane hasn't been coaching for a long time and this might be a problem because he might not be privy to what's evolving at modern football and the type of style that is required at modern football. And another problem with Coach Zidane is the fact that he doesn't speak English. So the translation issue would be a problem. The team would have to get a translator and sometimes the translator does not relay the message that the coach is saying. Sometimes the message is a bit mixed up. So that's the problem with Zidane as a coach. And in my closing remarks, I feel as if Manchester United should hire Unai Emery or Xavi or Zidane as a coach. But on the list, I feel as if the strong candidate and the best candidate would be Coach Xavi for Manchester United. That's it, folks. Like, comment, share, subscribe, share with family and friends. I'll be right back like Reece James, hopefully not injured and having proper vocal cords.